It's Monday, October 21st. This is PSN News. Tonight, we'll bring you the latest on the North Atherton construction project, as well as the mysterious death of a 17-year-old male in State College over the weekend.
We also have more on Domestic Violence Awareness Month at Penn State, as well as an exclusive look into ESPN personality Jay Billis's keynote address last week. Stay tuned.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Annie Mae.
And I'm Kennedy Miller.
State College police and EMTs respond to an emergency involving a 17-year-old male Saturday night, a death investigation now underway. Authorities were called to College Avenue around 9:30 Saturday, responding to reports of a 17-year-old male who was unconscious and breathing shallowly. By the time authorities got to the scene, the male was found in full cardiac arrest, deceased on site. Police said there were no signs of trauma, and an autopsy is to be scheduled by the Center County coroner. Authorities are asking that any tips related to the death be reported to Penn State Police.
Drivers on North Atherton Street should soon expect smooth sailing and safer roads for the remainder of 2019 and the majority of 2020. Mark Maney, the head of the multi-year construction project, said that minor work remains before the project shuts down in November and is scheduled to resume for 2 months next summer around the Curtin Road intersection. Part of that work will involve installation of underground steel utility casings across Atherton for future Penn State development. Maney says that the project is expected to be done around the weekend of May 15, 2020. To prevent a 4-week lane closure, State College Borough Council has approved a noise ordinance waiver for that weekend to allow 24-hour work. A detour will be in place during that time. Residents should begin to see major improvements in drainage, curbing sidewalks, ADA ramps, traffic signal upgrades, and new concrete paving.
October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and Penn State has held multiple events throughout the month to recognize this fact. PSN News field reporter Jackie Clare was at Old Main Lawn last week for Light the Night, an event sponsored by the Penn State Gender Equity Center. Let's tune in.
Good evening. This is Jackie Clare reporting at Old Main Lawn in front of Penn State University's main campus for PSN News. Tonight, students, faculty, and community members will notice that as the sun goes down, the area surrounding the lawn is actually getting brighter. Light the Night draws attention to the fact that October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month by recognizing victims and survivors of domestic and relationship abuse through an illuminated visual display.
I got the chance to speak with Jennifer Pensick, Programming Coordinator for Penn State's Gender Equity Center. She told me a lot about what the organization does as well as their role in Light the Night.
So the Gender Equity Center provides free and confidential counseling and advocacy for students. It's available for all students, and we are a unit that falls under Student Affairs. So we're the primary sponsor of Light the Night. So we do this every year, and then this year we brought on a bunch of different partners to help us.
Who decorates all the luminaries?
Yeah, so it's really a variety of people. A lot of students. We had one class who actually took bags for their class. Staff and students from the different offices. So really, whoever wanted to help decorate, we're able to.
Why do you think it's important that students are aware, and other community members as well, aware about the domestic violence issues and things?
I think because, especially for a lot of students, they just don't feel like domestic violence will really impact them, or they think like that's something you deal with, later when you're older, when you're in a relationship, when you have kids. But I mean, quite honestly, there are a lot of students here at Penn State who deal with, domestic violence and relationship violence.
I also got the chance to speak with grad student Hannah Ross.
I'm a member of FREE, which is the peers helping to re-educate, reform, and empower.
What did FREE have to do in making this event possible tonight?
FREE works with the Gender Equity Center. We work very closely with them and Men Against Violence as well. So we help promote this event. Gender Equity Center provides all of the bags for students and faculty to come and decorate with messages of support. And then they set it all up and provide all of the materials with them. It's just so powerful to see all of the bags lit up.
As people passed through Old Main tonight, the energy was both powerful and emotional.
Once again, I'm Jackie Claire, and this is PSN News.
Student groups are calling for Penn State to stop chartering its chapter of Turning Point USA. TPUSA is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to identify, educate, train, and organize students to promote freedom, free speech, and pro-American sentiments. The Penn State chapter bringing prominent figures to campus before, such as Donald Trump Jr. last spring. Some student groups say the entity associated with Penn State advocates for the oppression of minority groups and demand that they stop their funding through tuition and student fees. This demand was released via statement on the College Democrats' Twitter in response to two controversial conservative YouTubers speaking on campus this upcoming week. This statement was signed by multiple other organizations like United Socialists at PSU, Queer and Trans People of Color, and the LGBTQA Student Roundtable. Though expressing their disapproval, the statement said the groups have no intention of preventing aforementioned YouTuber Carl Benjamin, also known as Sargon of Akkad, from speaking on campus or any other community members from attending.
Former Penn State football assistant coach Jerry Sandusky will be back in Center County Court on November 8th for a new resentencing trial for his child sexual abuse convictions. Sandusky will be brought to Bellefonte from Silo Row Highlands, where he is currently serving a 30 to 60-year sentence. Sandusky's original resentencing was set for September, but was put on hold when Judge John Forodora of Jefferson County recused himself. Sandusky, age 75, was convicted in June of 2012 on 45 counts related to sexual assault of minors. He has been denied a new trial, but has been ordered a resentence due to Judge John Cleland's improperly applied mandatory minimum sentence of 30 to 60 years in state prison.
Stay tuned because after the break, Bella Langston will bring you the latest in entertainment news.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Bella Langston with your entertainment update. The Arboretum at Penn State flooded with pumpkins of all shapes, sizes, and styles last weekend. This year marks 7th annual Pumpkin Festival at the Arboretum from October 11th to the 12th. One special treat involved Penn State parents and families making an appearance at the festival during Parents' Weekend. Fall festivities included a number of attractions like the Jack-o'-lantern contest and an array of fall foods ranging from barbecue to homemade apple cider. Kids also got in on the fun at Childhood's Gate Children's Garden, where spooky face painting and corn husk doll making took place. The weekend wound down with cozy blankets and hot drinks as some guests took the time to watch the leaves fall in the sunset with friends and family. Orlando Pride soccer star Allie Krieger scored big with Penn State students during a keynote speech on Friday in the Hub Robinson Center's Alumni Hall. The former Penn State alumna used her platform to discuss LGBTQA and gender equity issues in today's society. Krieger advocates for women of sports in order to create a more inclusive environment both on and off the field. The Student Programming Association, Gender Equity Center, and Line Ambassadors are just a few of the organizations that hosted the speech. This speech was also in collaboration with Celebrate State, an engagement and empowerment initiative for the Penn State community. Krista Parkinson, founder of My Grads Get Jobs, spoke at Penn State last week about how to get hired in the entertainment industry. Our Grace McCarthy was there, and she can tell us more.
Hi, my name is Grace McCarthy, reporting for PSN News, and I'm here outside the Paterno Library, where founder of My Grads Get Jobs, Krista Parkinson, is speaking as a part of the Calm Career Conversation series. Let's head inside to get a closer look. My Grads Get Jobs is a personalized career coaching company that empowers college students and recent graduates to get jobs in the entertainment industry.
I read about it and I thought it was pretty interesting, the work that Krista does, and it's something I'm interested in.
Parkinson shared with students how to build their resume and prepare for job interviews.
The main takeaway for me from this speech was about how I need to brand myself and work on my personal image so I can be a better candidate for people that I want to work for.
We got the chance to speak with Parkinson about her view on students' passions.
Take the pressure off. You don't have to have everything figured out when you're 18, 19, 20, 21. Your passion will evolve over time. So just lead with curiosity and do the jobs that you're just most interested in. The path will reveal itself in time.
When we asked Parkinson what her favorite part of her job is, she said it is helping 20-somethings get the career that they want in the industry.
I love what I do because this is my passion. So when somebody sends me an email that they got hired somewhere, or I make an introduction where they get hired, it's like I've won $1 million.
Reporting for PSN News, I'm Grace McCarthy.
According to Yahoo Entertainment, cult classic TV shows The Office actresses Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey, who play Pam and Angela respectively, are stirring up something better than Kevin's famous chili. Fisher and Kinsey have talked about a possible reunion movie rather than a reboot for the show. Fisher stated that a reboot would not be the right move since most of the cast members had left at the show's finale and moved on to other things. She also said that the cast is already emailing and texting each other about the idea, which gained momentum from Kinsey and Fisher's podcast called Office Ladies. The mockumentary TV show was originally based in the UK until it was adopted by the States back in 2005. That's your entertainment update. Stay tuned because after the break, Noah Chas has the latest in sports.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Noah Chas with your sports update. Penn State football pulled out a 28-21 victory over Michigan in their signature whiteout game Saturday night. College game day came to Happy Valley for the third straight year for this Big Ten rivalry game. The Lions quarterback Sean Clifford threw for 157 yards and 3 touchdowns and was able to keep Penn State in the lead for all 4 quarters of the game. Star wideout KJ Hamler had 6 catches for over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a huge 53-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter to put Penn State up by 2 scores. Tight end Pat Fryermuth was able to find the end zone for his 4th touchdown of the season. Penn State remains undefeated and is now the 6th-ranked team in the nation. The Nittany Lions head to East Lansing next Saturday to take on the Spartans of Michigan State in another marquee Big Ten matchup. Women's volleyball was able to come back from an 8-point deficit in the first set and take the next 2 to complete the sweep over Michigan State on Sunday. Penn State used a balance attack on offense with 5 players having at least 5 kills. Caitlin Horde led the pack with 8 kills and a career-high 8 blocks. Johnny Parker added 10 kills while Serena Gray had 9. Kendall White led the way on defense with 18 digs and tied her career high with 4 aces. Number 8 ranked Penn State is now 14-3 overall and 7-1 in the Big Ten. The Lions head back home to Rec Hall to face Illinois Wednesday night at 8. ESPN commentator and noted sports personality Jay Billis spoke at the State Theater downtown last week. PSN News field reporter Marissa Oldshaker gave us an exclusive look at the story.
My name is Marissa Altshaker, and I am downtown in State College at the State Theater reporting on Jay Billis's keynote address at the Penn State Center for Sports and Society Intercollegiate Athletic Conference.
Mr. Billis, a prominent figure in the realm of sports analytics and journalism who currently works for ESPN, addressed about 300 people at the event on Thursday night. The interviewer's questions focused on recent popular debates within the intercollegiate sports community, including amateurism and governance within the NCAA. Penn State freshman John Sanos commented on Mr. Billis's humor throughout the speech, which kept the audience engaged. He was grateful to have heard from Mr. Billis in person.
I think I agreed with already most of what he had to say prior to coming here, but he definitely swayed in my opinion more than he already had before.
Student Executive Team CEO Nate Bayshore was a key contributor to the success of the conference. He has been working with the team for the past year to ensure that the event ran smoothly.
Communication from the students to the directors and vice versa. I think that was the biggest challenge, but we overcome it, and I think we had a great event tonight.
On this stage is where Mr. Billis addressed one of the main topics of the night concerning college athletes being paid for their talents.
While he is unsure of how universities will determine which athletes are paid what, he is positive that change is necessary.
In order for athletes to be able to monetize their name, image, and likeness, or to be compensated for their work, there'd have to be a change in NCAA policy.
Mr. Billis stands by his opinion that the universities of collegiate athletes are completely capable of sustaining a steady form of payment for their athletes. He also gave insights on the recent legal issues regarding illegal payments to players.
I think rather than be concerned about enforcement, we should be more concerned about a coherent policy that allows the athletes to share in the business and get their fair market value.
The conference continues tomorrow with a variety of speakers at the Lewis Katz Building. For PSN News, I'm Marissa Altshaker.
The 2019 World Series has been set. The Washington Nationals against the Houston Astros. The Nationals completed a 4-game sweep of the St. Louis Cardinals this past Tuesday to advance to the World Series for the first time in franchise history. The Houston Astros beat the Yankees in dramatic fashion Saturday night. Yankees first baseman DJ LeMahieu hit a 2-run blast in the top of the ninth to tie the game 4-4 and keep hope alive for the Yanks. In the bottom half of the inning, Houston second baseman Jose Altuve hit a walk-off bomb to left center field to beat the Yankees in 6 games. This is the first time since 1910 the Yankees have gone a full decade without reaching the World Series. The Astros, on the other hand, are looking to win their second World Series in 3 years. Game 1 of the World Series starts tonight in Houston with Max Scherzer on the mound for the Nationals and Garrett Cole for the Astros. That was your sports update. Stay tuned because after the break, we have an exclusive interview with the president of Hope Here, Hope Now, a student organization meant to raise awareness for human trafficking.
Hello and welcome back to PSN TV. I'm Brandon DeWolf. Tonight, we have Dineshka Cruz, president of Hope Here, Hope Now, Penn State's first human trafficking awareness organization. Hi, Dineshka. It's great to talk to you today.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your position here today?
Yes, my name is Dineshka. I'm a senior at Penn State, and I am the president of Hope Here, Hope Now, which is the first club at Penn State focused on raising awareness for human trafficking.
So what exactly is the mission of Hope Here, Hope Now, and what specifically does your club do to accomplish it?
So Hope Here, Hope Now mainly focuses on raising awareness in the Penn State community and State College community about human trafficking. And we do so by hosting events such as meetings and discussions to tell people kind of what human trafficking entails, since a lot of people on campus actually don't even know what it is, as well as they don't know that it happens in the US, not just overseas. So we do a lot of those awareness events. We also have held drives that get items for women's shelters that house domestic violence and human trafficking victims. So we primarily just want to raise awareness and let people know that this is an issue that doesn't just happen overseas.
Great. So as you were saying, it's not just an issue that happens overseas, but sometimes human trafficking feels like one of those problems that happens over there and not here, not in Pennsylvania, not in Little Happy Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit of statistics about human trafficking affects and kind of where it occurs and what goes on with who?
Yes, so human trafficking happens globally. There's about 40.3 million modern day slaves, as they call human trafficking victims. And it happens with anyone, it doesn't matter gender, race, ethnicity. It really has no preference. So if we want to go more locally in the US, it's about 50,000 people that are trafficked, and narrowing it down even more in central PA, it's also a huge problem. So there's 2 forms. There's trafficking that can happen through Route 15 in Pennsylvania, and then there's also trafficking that just happens locally.
All right, so it's also National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, as I'm sure you're aware.
Yes.
And these may seem like separate issues, human trafficking and domestic violence, but they're actually quite intertwined. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how we can discuss both these problems at such an important time?
Yes, so human trafficking is usually viewed as what happens in the movies. So there's a stranger, there's a victim, someone gets kidnapped, and they're dragged all over. Although that is something that happens, unfortunately, it also can seem also not what usually people think about. So primarily in some cases, there are girls who are groomed into thinking they're going into a relationship with this man who is their protector, who really loves them. So they're in this relationship, and eventually it kind of turns into a darker relationship, and domestic violence then comes in. So they are abused either physically, mentally, financially. And it all starts with, hey, I really need money. Can you have sex with this person for one night and then we'll be good? And these women, since they're so in love and They usually didn't have a better life before this. They think, well, I'll do anything to help him. And that one night turns into a week, turns into a month, turns into forever. And then that boyfriend becomes their pimp, and that's the rest of their lives.
So in some ways, the domestic violence is a precursor and a sign of the human trafficking, which you are obviously working to raise awareness for.
It can be, yes.
Well, thank you, Janeshka. That's all the time we have for today. I appreciate you coming to speak to us about such an important topic at such an important month. That's all the time we have, as I said. Thanks so much for joining us. Stay tuned, as right after this, we'll have this week's weather report.
From the students of Penn State Meteorology, here is your Penn State Campus Weather Service forecast.
Good evening, State College. I'm student meteorologist Joe Spear here with your Monday evening forecast. And looking into the rest of this week, we're going to see some wet starts for this week. Here on Tuesday, we have a potential for showers as a cold front moves through. But once that passes by, the weather's going to clear up a little bit. We'll see the sun shine through in the middle of the week, but we're not out of the woods yet. Here we have more showers coming into Friday and the middle parts of the week. Here's what future weather is lining up to be by 7:30 on Monday. State College and the rest of central Pennsylvania are looking relatively clear here for clouds, but the same can't be said for the western part of the state. A strong band of showers associated with the front that's going to be moving through is off the western tier of Pennsylvania, but as we step into Tuesday morning, that front's going to move right into Pennsylvania. Showers are all the way from Pittsburgh right up to Franklin and Erie. Strong showers associated with that converging line that's going to give you the boundary of that front that's going to move through into the rest of Pennsylvania. And the rest of the state isn't spared in terms of cloud cover, nearly entirely overcast for the rest of Pennsylvania. And even Philadelphia is having some small showers here on Tuesday morning. But by Tuesday night and Tuesday evening, that's when that front is going to be lined up straight over top of central Pennsylvania. That's where we're going to see the strongest showers for our neck of the woods in this time of day, and it's going to be ranging all the way down from Hagerstown, Maryland, straight up into State College and right into Bradford. But by Wednesday morning, that front is entirely out of the state. You don't see any signs of it, either from clouds or from rain. It's like it was never even here. But the winds are going to be what's the main problem in terms of the remnants of this front, mainly out of the west, coming into the east. It's a strong westerly flow that's going to be bringing some colder air into this area, but we won't be seeing any clouds or any precipitation into the middle parts of this week. Here's Thursday morning, 3:30, pretty early, but still keeping it into account, there's not many clouds here in this area. Now we're going to zoom out for the rest of the northeast of the United States to see where this next system is coming through. It's going to block out a little bit of the sun. Here by Friday, we'll be seeing the clouds move in, and by Friday night, that's when we're going to see some potential for showers, not mainly intense, but still something to keep an eye out for. And they're going to continue into Saturday, into the weekend, mainly overcast, showers over in the eastern part of the state. But look up here in New York, we do have a potential for mixed precipitation and snow as well. So it's not entirely out of the question to be seeing some more solid precipitation as we head into this weekend. So for tonight, we're going to be at 52 degrees. It's going to be mostly cloudy, and we're going to have late showers as that front starts to move into the state, and we're going to have southeast winds at 7 miles per hour. Tuesday is when that front is going to be right over top of Pennsylvania by Tuesday night. Rain all day, and it's going to be cloudy associated with that all day. 60 degrees for our high, not much warmer from our overnight low, but southeast winds are going to be at 5 to 10 miles per hour. The rest of the week lines up not so similar. Here we see Wednesday and Thursday, the sun is going to make its return back into State College as that front finally moves out, and temperatures are going to even increase a little bit as we allow more radiation from the sun to reach the surface and heat us back up a little bit. But by Friday and Saturday and Sunday, that's when that next system moves in and brings a little more precipitation into our area. But by Monday, things start to clear out a little bit, and we'll see the sun start to make a return here in State College. For the Penn State Campus Weather Service, I'm Joe Spear.
Trump defended his decision to withdraw U.S. troops from Syria, saying he would rather focus on the issues of the southern border and let Syria and Assad deal with their own country's problems. Recently, Trump's decision has provoked criticisms from Republicans on Capitol Hill and some other prominent religious conservatives. Although at one point President Trump expressed his approval of the idea of sanctioning Turkey and their military, he has stood by the decision to withdraw. Senator Lindsey Graham discussed a bipartisan effort to overturn the president's potential actions with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Graham also criticized the president's tweets indirectly, saying those who do not believe that radical Islam is a threat are mistaken. Others also expressed their disapproval on Twitter. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell saying the withdrawal of troops would, quote, only make a troubling situation much worse, end quote.
Johnson & Johnson has come under fire after a report came out Friday that they are recalling around 33,000 bottles of baby powder in the United States after U.S. health regulators found trace amounts of asbestos in samples taken from the bottles. Johnson & Johnson has opened an investigation and have stated that they have been working with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to determine the integrity and validity of the test. Reuters published a report indicating that the company knew for decades that cancer-causing asbestos could be found in talc. Johnson & Johnson argued that their talc products are safe and that decades of studies have proven them to be asbestos-free. In a later statement, FDA tests indicated that the presence of asbestos in the bottles were no greater than 0.2%.
A fourth defendant in the Rudy Giuliani federal campaign finance case was arrested in New York on Wednesday. David Correa was taken into custody at JFK Airport and charged in the indictment, also targeting a pair of Ukrainian businessmen with several ties to Giuliani. The business relationship between Giuliani and those charged in the scheme is a subject of conversation in the ongoing criminal investigation conducted by federal authorities. The Ukrainian businessmen were taken into custody last week in Washington as they attempted to leave the country in possession of one-way tickets. All four defendants are now in custody with Correa's arrest. The indictment was filed on October 10th for, quote, conspiring to circumvent the federal law against foreign influence by engaging in a scheme to funnel foreign money to candidates, end quote.
Maryland civil rights champion and U.S. House Committee Chairman Rep. Elijah Cummings, age 68, died Thursday of complications from long-standing health problems. Cummings was not only an advocate for the poor in his Black majority district, but a chairman of the House Oversight and Reform Committee. Cummings lead investigations of the president's government's dealing related to Trump's family members serving in the White House. On Thursday, Trump tweeted his condolences to Cummings' friends and family and ordered flags of the White House military bases to be flown at half-staff through Friday to honor him. Former Presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton expressed in statements Cummings' strong leadership and compassion that he brought to the committee. Cummings became not only a lawyer, but one of the most powerful orators in the State House, where he entered office in 1983 and cruised big victories in the Democratic District. Congressman and civil rights leader John Lewis said that with Cummings' death, Americans have lost a great leader of the time of crisis in our democracy.
And that's all for tonight on PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter at PSN News and on Instagram at Penn State Network News.
Have a good night, Penn State.